So you now have the background on the relationship, how we met, and also the marriage. Just wanted to be brief about it because, give some context about what's to come. All right, so now we're at the point where she comes. We are in, I would say, 2021, the end of 2021. She comes to me and she says she wants to go back to school. And I said, I support it. I just don't think right now is the best time. Around that time, I was already working two jobs to try to make ends meet. She was working her job. Yeah, we had a house full of kids. We had four kids that we needed to take care of. And so, I just told her not right now. I didn't say she shouldn't do it. I just said, I don't think right now is a good time. Oh man, she blew it up. She was like, "Oh, you never support me. You're always blocking me. We're always following your dreams, this, that, and the third." And I'm like, what dreams? You know what? And this is something she's always saying. And like when she says this, it kind of like throws me off because my dreams was what the only dreams that um we were chasing together was my event planning business, which I had before the marriage. And that I worked on while the kids were sleeping at night when we were doing nothing. The money came from me doing events with that business. And then the other one was the business that we were trying to plan together. And that was about it, you know? And then every single time I told her to go to school when it was a good time, when money was coming in, she didn't want to do it. She always decided to go to school at a time where it just was not beneficial for the family, where it would cause a lot of setbacks. All right. So I'm like, you know what? I don't want you to feel that I'm not supportive. Let's sit, let's speak, let's talk and figure out how we're gonna make this work. Right. And I knew deep down inside it wasn't going to. But I did not want to be that husband that's not supportive. And I'm really trying my hardest to just keep the peace in this marriage, right? So I am like, how are we going to do it? We're going to figure it out, right? Cool. So we come up with a plan. I'm going to do this, that, and the third at this time. You're going to do this, that, and third at this time. I'm talking about written out on paper so that we can make sure it's working for the family. We stick to it. And by the grace of God, we are going to try our best to make sure it works so that you can go to school, right? Now, this is the moment where I started to gain some spiritual awakening, but it was a battle between God and the world. And when I say the world, meaning um, like witchcraft. And so, my family, is very big in spirituality, my father's side, right? Um, and then my mom's side, well, my mom is very big in church, so I grew up in church. So my mom, I mean my dad too, but it's my mom's thing. My grandmother and everything like that, like just church people. Um, so I always knew like readings and psychics and anything witchcraft, sorcery, all that stuff is not of God. It talks about it in the Bible. You know what I'm saying? But I always used to try to find loopholes. Like, oh, this psychics mentions God. She believes in God, so it's okay. I can listen to her. I can read her stuff. I can blah blah blah, whatever. But anywho, I knew deep down inside, like I just things. It's like I started to hear God a lot. But in addition to hearing God a lot, I was also dibbling and dabbling in some other spiritual stuff. So it was a battle. It was definitely a battle. Now, hearing God's voice, the minute we agreed that she was gonna, we're gonna do the whole school thing and figure it out, God told me instantly it ain't gonna work. So I knew it could work if we bring God back into our life and our marriage. I said we're gonna need it. I said because I can see the down, the spiral going, again, it's just going down again, the downward spiral. So I'm like, we gotta start going back to church. We gotta really bring God into this marriage, like now, because I just have a feeling we're gonna need it. She's like, oh, sure. I don't see what the issue is with that, whatever. I was going down that path, but she wasn't. And if y'all know anything about this life, when you have a marriage where one is in the path of believing God and just living that godly righteous life, and the other one isn't, the enemy is going to play big on that, right? So I'm now like trying my hardest to get the family, well, not the family, her, because my kids are going to follow suit with me, obviously, to really just dig in, like read the Bible, pray, and start building that relationship with God, so that our marriage doesn't suffer in the season that we're entering, right? The season of just how the heck are we about to do this? So, we're coming through. Christmas comes, and we're making it happen, and we're making it happen, and boom, now, the new year comes, it's her birthday. And I know she had been like struggling emotionally. I mean, we all have, but I wanted to really just do something great for her. You know what I'm saying? So I called up her family, surprised her. She said she didn't want nothing big. She wanted a dinner. So, I'm in the hospitality industry. I plan events. I used to be a chef. So yeah, I mean, I'm like, what do you want to do? She's like, I just want a simple dinner and blah, blah, blah. Now, um, like I said, we were struggling a little bit, so we couldn't afford to go out to a very expensive restaurant. So I'm gonna bring the expensive restaurant to her. Like I said, I can cook, I plan events, I know how to put things together. And so I called up her family. I'm like, yo, can you guys help me out? Surprise your sister, cousin, daughter, whatever you are to her. Come out for her birthday. Like I don't want anyone to know. I don't want her to know that anyone's coming. I just want to surprise her. Right. So we all planned this big thing. I turned the entire space into this beautiful dinner with her favorite colors, great decor, cooked up a really nice, sort of like a fine dining kind of restaurant type deal, and surprised her with a birthday dinner for her 30th birthday, I think it was. Yeah. I mean, it was beautiful. I mean, just amazing, Um, and that was like a moment where I felt like, all right, are going good. And we were sticking to the plan that we had for the household and school and everything. So we had the dinner and everything, and right after the dinner, right after her family went home, things started to go backwards, and I just couldn't understand it for the life of me. Like, she's depressed again, and now she's the things that we agreed to, she's not doing. So I'm holding up my bargain, my part of the bargain. She's not holding up hers. So now that's bringing a lot of problems. And I'm praying. I'm talking about, I'm in my prayer closet every single day. I feel like I'm getting stronger, 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 stronger. Now, I just keep getting a feeling March, something in my gut, and this is like January time. Something in my gut is telling me something big is going to happen in March. I'm like, March, something like, it's just like the Holy Spirit just keeps telling me like your life is about to change in March. So I'm talking to my sister-in-law now. She's another spiritual person. I'm like, yo, something big's about to happen in March. And she's like, well, did you see what the reading says? Like in your horoscope, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, nah, let me go read it. Bro, I'm telling you, it's saying everything that I'm feeling. Like a big change is about to come, blah, 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 just really. So now I'm getting drawn, I'm getting sucked into this stuff now, right? So now I'm like, yo, how much a reading costs? Yeah, should I talk to the psychic? I'm like, oh my God, what should I do? Like, I don't know, God, is this okay? Like, just battling. Like, who do I listen to? I listen more to God. How do I know if this is God? Like, I'm just battling because I'm picking up a different kind of strength that I can't understand. And I'm also getting confused because now I'm also dibbling and dabbling in sorcery. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna follow my gut. Like, I don't know. I'm just gonna keep praying. So I'm praying for my wife, and I'm praying hard because I'm like, I can see this going back to where we were 2 years ago. When we weren't talking on our anniversary, and it's getting bad. Like, things are not getting done. I'm doing too much, way too much. Now I'm getting overwhelmed, and I'm already still in a depressed state from what we just went through. It's just a lot. That's a lot emotionally. I'm going through a lot, and so is she. So now we are in the beginning of, like, beginning to middle of February, and my cousin is about to get married at the end of the month. So now I am helping planning her wedding. Wedding. I used to be a planner. Um, and so now I'm helping planning her wedding. We're getting things together, and we're supposed to just really be heavily involved, but it's rough. It's a rough time in my household. It's a rough time in our marriage. Things are about to get rough.